Geocachomaniacs.
Geo Gearheads.
Welcome back to the Geo Gearheads. This is episode 477. I'm Daryl W4, back again as usual with Chris of the Northwest.
Daryl, so good to be here. I love Thursday nights, hanging out with friends, talking geocaching. What could be better?
Getting paid to do it.
Well, yeah, there's that. That's not going to be an option for geocaching for the majority of people.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about how about getting paid to go geocaching in cool and exotic locations.
Bingo. Oh, now you're talking. Now you're thinking.
You know, we had one of those conversations at work today about, moving to other countries and keeping your salaries. We've got some offices in countries where it's a lot less expensive to live.
Yes.
And we had those conversations of, can I move there and keep my salary? Of course, the answer is always no. No, you can't.
And GSM times 2 wants to know other countries like Ojai. No, that's not just a country.
I think Limax has the right answer, though. He just wants to retire.
Yeah. I'm just tired. I haven't even become tired again to be retired. That's a dad joke.
Yes.
Sorry. It's all I got, okay? Work with me.
There were some bad dad joke memes lately that caught my eye. And I keep a couple of them on my phone so that next time I have someone who needs them, they'll be at the ready.
Okay. You know the one I thought of one again this week that I'd heard a while ago. Why do all the ships in Sweden have barcodes on them?
I have no idea.
So they can Scandinavian.
Oh, that is terrible.
Okay. Hey, we got email.
Yes, we do.
Let me just not acknowledge that joke and we'll move on.
The joke that you read, or recited.
Yeah. Scandinavian. Come on, that's good.
No.
This comes from Merlin 1392, who's been on this show several times and is often in the chat. Merlin sent by email. He says the Happy Holidays mission project was a huge success this year. There were over 160 missions from 12 countries. The pandemic certainly had a major impact on this year's activities. While there were certainly more participants than ever, it also took longer than ever for some packages to be delivered. In fact, there are 3 missions still outstanding coming from other countries to the U.S. We know the missions have been sent. They're just in the processing centers waiting to be delivered. Claire and I want to send a big thank you to all of our podcasting friends who have helped spread the word and made the Happy Holidays mission a huge success. We also want to let you know that the Easter Holiday Mission project has been opened. Now is the time to visit the website and add your participation. The project works just like the Happy Holiday Mission. Submit your name and how many missions you'd like to participate with, then wait for Lavelle K9 to send you the names and addresses of your mission recipients. A card and standard unactivated geocoin is all that's required. But like the holiday mission participants, can't help but include special things from their country and region to make their mission even more special. The deadline to participate is March 5th. He sent us a link. You can find it in the geocaching forums. Should we put that link in the chat?
Yeah, we should probably put it in there. I'm working on doing that right now. And of course, it will be in the show notes.
You never know who will get your name, and the anticipation of a package from afar is exhilarating. Thanks again for helping us spread the joy and connect with geocachers around the globe. That's Claire Latour, or Lavelle K9, and Tim Green, Merlin 1392.
So I've done the holiday one previously, and it was a lot of fun.
So remind us all, what is this mission?
So you have to send an unactivated non-personal geocoin and the card. That's
Okay.
pretty much it. But what you get, and a lot of people send a lot more, and what you get back is a random coin and card from someone else, and usually a whole bunch of other stuff. So I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what I got from which ones, but I know that I have a bunch of pins that came from one of them internationally. And I seem to remember a bunch of candy. So the
Interesting.
candy canes that arrived were pulverized.
Really good on cocoa. You just sprinkle the pieces on top.
Yeah. Or on brownies.
Oh, there you go.
One of the things that caught me on this one was the shipping delays that they referenced, because I'm dealing with a ton of those problems at work.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, and we had an entire box of laptops, which I think was a shipment of 5, that just disappeared.
Hmm.
And now we've got packages that are stuck in airplanes, supposedly in Memphis, because they can't fly them into Florida because of the weather situation there for the last week. So yeah, it's been crazy in all sorts of ways. Every carrier is having issues, and it's not any one location.
Wow. That is frustrating.
So if you are going to take part in one of these missions, don't get frustrated, because I am expecting massive delays.
Mhm.
Yeah, quite honestly, I'm not getting a lot of the bills that are mailed to me. They just never show up. The
Is
only
that a
way,
bad thing?
well, yes, because people expect the payment.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
there's
the only saving grace is most of the stuff that I do. I don't like doing auto pay,
Mhm.
but I do have at least a schedule that I can check against and take care of it. And I usually get the bills online so I can download the PDF. This is so silly, because if you can't do a PDF that I can edit, I don't do your uh, electronic. I make you send me the actual bill so that I
Right.
can scan that and then attach my payment information. So if you don't let me edit the PDF, I'm going to make you mail me the bill. The problem is that's actually what's happening. I can't get those PDFs, or get those actual bills in the mail. They just never show up.
Wow.
So now I'm reverting back to the PDFs that I can't edit, and constantly complaining to customer service about it. Oh, GSM times 2 says lots of containers are falling off of ships. Davy Jones might have new laptops. And that is very true. I've seen some of the photos of
Mhm.
the container ships with stuff falling literally off them, and it's like big dominoes.
Yeah. And you think about that, and it's just sitting down there. Who knows how deep?
Well, the thing that I keep having crossed my mind whenever I see that kind of photo is they're doing unmanned ships for a lot of those now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I gather that there's like a few people on the ship still.
There would have to be for an emergency.
No, that's the whole. They want to get rid of the people, among other things. If you're a pirate and there's no one on board, there's no one to threaten.
But then you just take the stuff.
How are you going to take a container? The
Pull
whole
a ship
thing.
up alongside, start using the cranes.
Yeah, maybe.
But I would think that, if something went wrong, that ship is just going to barrel into a port city somewhere and, not stop.
No, well, and they're actually doing some amazing things with the autonomous controls on those.
Mm-hmm.
Limax says that things should all be shipped by carrier pigeon.
Shipping desktops by carrier pigeons are going to require a serious amount of steroids.
This is why we have Google
What,
and some of the other guys working on their drone delivery services, so that
what
we
about
have.
carrier ostriches?
Well, they don't fly,
But they're big and fast. They can carry heavy loads.
this is true. But Google and some of the others are trying to get those pigeons on steroids that they can manufacture, and all they have to do is charge them. They don't have to actually feed them. More importantly, they won't poop on you when they drop off your package.
Isn't that kind of what the package drop is? Drone poo?
Oh, now I'm envisioning burritos falling from the sky.
Yeah.
One of the few things that they've
Here's your
actually
Chipotle order.
done. Yeah, Chipotle is actually one of the ones that experimented with that stuff.
I mean, I love the idea of the drones, and I think, wow. I mean, just the other night, we had a ring at our doorbell, and there was a pizza there. Hey, we didn't order a pizza. Yeah,
I was just going to say almost anyone who's done delivery services during the pandemic will understand how awful it is to have drivers.
So, we called the pizzeria and said, hey, we got an unexpected delivery. Well, we can't take it back. Enjoy.
Sure.
Well, I understand that, but I'm calling to let you know that one of your orders is not going to be delivered. Well, I expect we'll get a phone call here in a few minutes. You're not even going to try to reach out? Okay. That's on you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we call customer service during COVID.
Yeah.
Uber Eats drones is what Limac said.
So Uber eats drones.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know about the drones. I love the idea. I mean, I have a personal drone. I get like 12 minutes of airtime out of it, and it can't carry that much. But if you scale it up, is it worth it?
The drones that I've seen for the delivery are nothing like the drones that we've seen for the inspections and whatnot.
Yeah.
They are a completely different style. And a lot of the concepts that I've actually seen the videos of the testing are kind of imitating the drop strategy that they used for the Mars rover, the Perseverance rover.
What if I have a lot of trees in my front yard and they can't, see the ground?
And that's one of those problems that they have to figure out how to overcome. And generally, they don't want to deliver to the front yard. They want the backyard.
Mm.
And this is one of the problems that they've been talking about is they have to have the cameras and everything on the drone and be able to detect if there's a dog in the backyard.
Right.
Because if there's a dog in the backyard, you can't drop the package in the backyard because chances are good enough that the dog's going to destroy the package, whatever it is.
We have a dog and the dog would be fine with the package. I would be afraid, they would drop the package in dog poo.
That's another problem.
Man,
so there's more problems, I think, with drone delivery than it's going to solve.
It would be interesting if they provided you a drone target, right? Here's a basket, that's got a target that our drone can see, and it'll put the package in there.
This should have been a randomized show because we are so off topic already, and we haven't even I don't think we've even announced what our topic is for the day. But the one thing that I think makes a lot of sense that they're using the drones for is medical deliveries in urban areas.
Mm-hmm.
Or in rural areas, rather. So
either way.
Especially the places that are off the grid, and it's mostly, I want to say, Africa that they've been actively doing this as a commercial venture. Yeah, they're literally delivering to places where people can't get medicine in a timely fashion, no matter what. They don't have the road service to do it, and it's viable via drone.
Even elderly within a big city, right? Can't always get out. So
yeah, but if you're in the big city, then the drone delivery becomes much more complicated.
Much more complicated. How do you deliver to the 2nd, 3rd, 18th floor? We're going to hover out the window just
into anything. Yeah.
Oh.
But our topic for the evening is
my dogs go in and out on a whim. And GSM times 2 says, whim? Dog, yum, free pizza.
What's a whim?
That must be a covered platform.
Kind of like a porch?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, if you have the whim, the drone won't be able to see the dog until it comes off of the whim to eat the drone. Chew toy! Okay, anyway. The topic for the evening is actually playing other games. And we're talking
Like-
about,
Catch the drone.
yeah, we're talking about some of these other things, like, of course, Pokemon Go that I play,
Mhm.
and like Munzie, which I stopped playing.
Yeah.
So,
Ingress.
Ingress is still a big one. I don't play it anymore. Same with the Wizarding or Harry Potter,
Mhm.
the Harry
There-
Potter game, whatever they called that one.
Right.
I ended up deleting. I still have Ingress on my phone, but I deleted the Harry Potter game because I got annoyed with the notifications, which is the same reason that I deleted Munzie. You know, I didn't turn off the notifications. I deleted them. You know, deleted the apps.
It was Wizard Unite. Or if
Wizard-
you're a bad speller, Wizards Untie.
I like that one better. But what kind of games are you actually playing, if any? You know, in location-based games
You know,
outside of geocaching.
geocaching and adventures. I consider adventures a different game because it's a different app. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's similar, but it does get into the same problem if you have the different apps that you have to toggle back and forth.
Kind of the same with Where I Go. I know it's included in geocaching, but you have to have another app to use it. So
Agreed, but they're still tied to geocaching in that they're geocaching games,
Mhm.
but they are different apps that you have to separate out and run on their own. So it is a
Right.
different thing.
So I mean,
You were
well,
playing Munzie for a while,
yes,
and you were playing Pokemon Go for a while,
yes,
and Ingress. So
and
what
Ingress.
happened to those?
Well, I didn't load them on my latest phone. So let's start with Munzie. Munzie was really fun in the beginning. You know,
Well, and
and
Munzie
then-
had enough differences yet similarities that it was intriguing to geocachers.
right. I still see Munzies when I'm geocaching. Often right above or right around a geocache, there will be a Munzie. I enjoyed Munzie when I started, and then it kind of lost its challenge, its appeal, because they seem to be everywhere. You would get like we would have a team of like 2 people, and they would hit every light post, like in the mall parking lot. And you needed 2 because they got to a point where no, it's too close to your last one, so they would alternate. And it's like this, you know, that kind of loses the challenge of it if they're everywhere, right? It's not the thrill of the hunt anymore. Now it's a challenge of numbers.
Well, and the thing that I liked about Munzie was it had the quick, easy snack size grab and go kind of thing. You didn't have to go digging around under the lamp skirt to find it. It
Mhm.
would be on the pole.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them were placed in not so good
Desirable
locations.
areas. Mhm.
Well, not the not desirable areas, just, you know, they're on the side of a pole sticking out like a sore thumb.
Mm.
And there was a whole series of those in one of the mall parking lots near me where the security guys had come through, or maintenance guys, and pulled them all off.
Or
'Cause-
painted, right? Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a bunch of them. You know, it was a lot more fun when there was a little bit of a challenge, but I liked being able to just, you know, scan and go, where it took a
Yeah,
little less time.
Yes. And I thought that was so innovative, and, you know, it's so quick. Boom, got it.
Mhm.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're out with 3 or 4 people, you try to stack phones, right? So that my phone sees the Munzie, your phone sees my phone, and you stack them up that way and try to get them all at once just because you can.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that was kind of the peak of it for me. Then it started to get a little bit too complicated with some of the games
Mhm.
that I started to lose interest in it. And then eventually, when they started doing, you know, like the daily notifications, that was it. And I just deleted it.
Now, did you get any, I want to call them alliance wars, but I know that wasn't it. Teams?
The Z Ops,
Team
I think.
battles? Z-Ops, I really tried to get into, and that was it felt like a cash grab.
Yeah.
But before that, there you could sign up on a team, and then you go challenge
Yeah.
other teams too, and you
Well,
could get weapons and other things. And
yeah, I
I
thought that
never
was
quite
all
figured
still
that
part
one
of
out.
the Z-Ops, but
Mm-mm.
I don't really
Might have
remember.
been integrated into ZOps, but that was before.
Got it. But yeah, really don't remember because I like the virtual Munsies because again, it had that
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing there, but it brings you to a location. They started doing some of the quiz Munsies on that,
Mm-hmm.
and that made a lot more sense to me. And I thought it was an interesting, again, short virtual cache that you could put in those locations that it wasn't there.
Until
And then,
you
then
go
they went
to a
away.
very popular location,
Yeah.
like say Disneyland or Munzie headquarters, where there was far more virtual Munsies than you could ever capture.
Yeah.
Clans. Thank you,
Yeah.
BMARS.
BMARS as clans. So yeah, there we go. But I think it still is an interesting game, just not one for me.
GSM times 2 says for me about a third of the Munsies were in bad enough shape that they wouldn't scan.
Yeah, and that's been a big problem. And they went through and did a whole big thing a while ago where they just bulk archived anything that was over a certain age of certain types.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes care of cleaning it up a little bit.
Limax says he's with me, and that's why I like Limax. He's my friend. Half the time, the QR codes I find are not activated or archived. No responsibility for picking things up.
Well, in a lot of cases, the way that people place those, you can't pick them up because they're adhesive that, so it's a problem.
Yeah. Well, and at the time I had a print shop at work that, we could produce high quality laminated Munsies with a sticky back. And, man, those things were the bee's knees.
Yeah. And that was half of my fun of it was originally testing out the different papers. And I ended up settling on some of the outdoor adhesive paper that I found. It's actually like a vinyl that you could laser print onto. And those things lasted amazingly well. They weren't cheap, but that was fun to make them.
I made a Munsie that was a play on the parks department here in my city.
Okay.
So I didn't use the exact wordage, but it was close enough that if you looked at it, you go, oh, this must be a park tag for this tree. It belongs there. Right. Yeah. It was a Munsie. And, I came up with some silly acronym that actually spelled out Munsie.
Nice.
So,
all right. So that's Munsie. Still a good game. Just
and still very
active. We
active.
play. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it has its own following. It has an incredible group of people behind that.
It really does. They've really hit on something and they're managing it well.
Yeah. They also had merged with Freeze Tag. And they had the other
Garfield
game, the Garfield Go.
Which I tried for about a week.
Yeah, I couldn't get into that one. And I don't know if that one's even around anymore. But it's something that I wanted to mention. But again, it's its own game that you have to do within their app. So you can't go and jump out. Now, the ones that we mentioned initially from Niantic, we've got the originally there was Ingress, then they came out with Pokemon Go, and then the Wizards Unite. All of those are based around the same engine. They're very different games, especially in the gameplay. The engines are similar, but really don't look like they're similar.
Right.
And the thing that I find interesting is that Pokemon Go, they have the external hardware that you can connect. So you don't necessarily need to actually be running it on your phone. So that is kind of a different thing that makes it a little easier to play that with other games, which kind of gets us into one of the reasons that we wanted to talk about this tonight is a lot of us do play multiple games. And the challenge becomes playing those multiple games when you only have one phone.
Right.
So how do you deal with these different problems?
And that's something I've never been able to figure out.
Well, and there are a number of ways to do it. Like I mentioned with Pokemon Go, they do have separate hardware. So you
That's
can get, like, this is the Pokeball Plus that or not Pokeball Plus, the Pokeball, I think is all they call it, which is actually a controller for your Switch, and it's also a controller for, well, specialized controller. It only works, I think, with the one game. But this is also the catch spin controller that you can use for Pokemon Go. That's one of the reasons why I still play Pokemon Go so actively, is because I can go walk the dog. The Pokemon Go Plus, I don't actually carry around the controller. I do a Pokemon Go Plus clone. Gives me the option of walking, access the pedometer. So I still get my steps in the game, because if you walk, you'll hatch eggs and earn buddy candy and that kind of stuff. So you get points, essentially. You get credits for doing your walking, which is very cool. And now I can walk the dog. I can go catch Pokemon and stuff with the phone in my pocket and play that. Of course, that also works for geocaching. I can have the geocaching app, whatever I'm using for that, on the phone and still be catching Pokemon while I go to that cache.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the exception, is because you can do that in the background.
Yeah. I remember there was a time I was doing Ingress and Pokemon at the same time, and it was tough. There, you would have to hold on. There's a gym here. There's a Pokemon or a Ingress portal. Hold on. I've got to go switch. Okay. I did that. Now go back and do this. And, I'm walking. So which one should get the credit for which one I'm walking in now?
One of the other interesting bits is with Pokemon Go. If you have the Apple Watch, and I believe it actually works with some of the others, but I believe it's only for iOS. It has what they call Adventure Sync. So you get credit for all of your steps throughout the day, not just the steps while the app is open or while you're wearing, the coaches kind of thing.
And that was true of Pokemon Go before I quit, right? So it would start up and say, since you were last on, you walked 15,000 steps. Do you want those credited? Yes. Thank you. Done. Okay.
Yeah. The whole thing with Niantic's strategy is they're trying to get people out and experiencing the world. Yeah, they came out with Field Trip as their first app, which is long gone, encouraging people to get out and see the world.
And during a pandemic, these games are fantastic, right? You don't have to interact with anyone.
Yep,
right?
And they've changed. They've changed to better interact with the game. So Pokemon, you'd have to go out and spin at portals or Pokestops in gyms. So because of the pandemic, they've given you some extra tools in the game, including the remote raid passes, so you can go and battle in the gyms without having to go to the gym. It's oversimplifying it, but they've gone and done some changes so that you can continue to play. And it was such a problem for them that they give something to make this happen, because people do not act responsibly with games.
What?
We've all seen the videos of guys slamming into police cars playing Pokemon Go shortly after it came out. They had to do something.
You want a real life story?
Absolutely.
I was doing an adventure with my daughter Tuesday, and we were walking down a trail and come up on a scene of two parents and their child. They're sitting right in the middle of the trail, and I look. They're letting their child explore nature. I mean, there must be something interesting there. They all stopped and sat down, and I thought, this is great. This is, great. Use the park. We were walking on, and I realized, I missed that. We should have went straight on that turn instead of going this way. So I walked back. And as we walk back by them, we see now I look, the parents aren't even paying attention to the child. They're playing Pokemon Go, and the child's just, playing with rocks in the trail there. And I'm like, well, so much for that idyllic scene. I don't even know if the parents were paying attention. Hey, Chad, how are you doing?
Chad says that he had to give up on Pokemon Go, didn't have enough time to evolve the Pokemon, so everyone would kill him in battle. Yeah, and the game has changed a lot for those who played early on. It's much less now about the gym battles and more about the raids, and even the gym battles, they changed the way those worked. So if you were one of those people who tried it originally and didn't get into it, it is probably worth checking out again. And they've gone now and jacked it up, so now you have level 50 is your top, not level 40. So
I remember that I would end up spending as much time in the evening on the sofa, cleaning up everything I did while I was outside. So outside and walking, and then maintenance when you got home was about the same to me. Like,
and that's one of the things that drives people nuts about these kind of games is you do have a lot of bookkeeping essentially. So it's going to take you some time
there's a
to
bit of maintenance,
really get involved. So the people like Chad who didn't take the time are at a disadvantage.
Right.
So something else to consider if you're going to try getting back into it. But GSM Times 2 said that if you consider Adventure Labs as a separate game, then this is how Bellagio and I do them together. I use my phone with mobile Wi-Fi on. She has my old phone with Wi-Fi. No switching is necessary.
Yes,
which
but
brings me to one of the points that I was.
Do her paws work well enough? Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
But no, that's actually one of the points that I was going to bring up is you can get burner phone kind of things, cheap phones, used phones.
Tablet.
Your old phone works fine. Tablets, and use those as long as they have the GPS to play some of these games and tether them. I would tend to put if you're
using iOS devices, only one of them needs a GPS.
With most games. Some games actually do require the internal GPS.
Oh, do they? Okay.
And that was largely an anti-spoofing move, I think. Because if it is sharing from another device, it's easy enough to spoof it. And I know that Pokemon Go had done that for a while, and they're back to not requiring it. However, I know a lot of people that I talked to last weekend, maybe it was the weekend before. That's how they're doing the spoofing now. They're imitating a GPS from another device so that their iPhone or iPad will assume that that is the location.
Interesting.
So that's how they're getting around it. And that's, why they did allow for it. But that is a great way to do it. And I would recommend if you're going to do that, the bulk of the games, these AR type games do take a significant amount of processing power and battery. So put them on the bigger, heavier powered device and let those guys just sit there and dissolve the battery. But that's where you're going to get the best performance, and you'll suffer if you use one of these older phones. Those older phones, though, tend to work great for things like Cashly or GeoGo. So put them on those.
App that tends to work better on the older phones, where the newer phones need have the power for your Ingress, your Pokemon, Is Wallaby still a thing?
Wallaby is still a thing, and I actually still play Wallaby, but it's less of a location-based game now. It's more about the card trading and buying the stuff from the market. Occasionally they do location-based stuff. So kind of disappointing in that it's not, but it will give you some room to forage at your local stores and whatnot. But as far as the new cards go, it's almost always item browsing. Or item store, rather. So it's gotten very different from when we last had them on the show.
Well, we've mentioned Ingress. Ingress, I'm looking here, was released, Daryl, in 2012.
Yep.
If you want to feel old, that was 9 years ago. It's a
It was
9-year-old game.
released. It was released about the time we started doing the show,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the reasons why we started talking about location-based games rather than just geocaching on the show. Because at the time, there were actually a number of different location-based games that were coming out. I don't
Right.
think many of them survived.
I don't think many of them did. Apparently, I did a little Google search. So apparently there is a Minecraft Earth.
That
So-
one is going to go away.
Okay.
I don't remember the date, but yeah, that I kind of wanted to try that out just to see what it was. And then right about the time I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to have to do that this Christmas, they announced that it was going away.
And another one that looks like it's based off of the Ingress engine is Jurassic World Alive.
I remember that one was coming out, but I don't think it's actually out. And I don't think it is I don't think it's Niantic though. It could be.
It's not. It's Ludia, but it's available on the App Store.
Oh. Okay. Hey, we got another one.
If you want to go catch dinosaurs.
Not really. They might eat me.
Dinosaurs fight.
One of the things that I do want to bring up with Cashly and GeoGo is if you have the Apple Watch, or in GeoGo's case, an Android Wear Watch, they do have apps on the watch, so you can go to caches and that kind of thing from the watch. So it gives you the flexibility of using that device you already have for some basic notifications, and then you can switch back and forth. The other thing we need to mention with geocaching is there are these other dedicated devices called GPSRs.
What?
And
yeah,
they will let you go geocaching without needing any data even.
They're a remote handheld device. But what games do they interact with?
Seriously, with GPSRs, it's a great consideration. Yeah, especially if you've already got one. You can take that, keep it around your neck, go and play your other games. You know, walk your past, keep track of that while you're still playing those other games, and have two screens.
Right.
It doesn't need another phone. It's just, make sure to load them in. And, some of them, like the Oregon 750s, do have that data connection so that you can do live and you don't have to download all the caches before you leave.
Mm-hmm.
So something else to consider. Quite honestly, what I usually do, I just switch back and forth between the apps.
If you're if you're dealing with two, it's fine. And if they don't necessarily share the same position, right?
Right. But like when I go caching in a downtown area, it's like, okay, I know this cache is over on that street corner. I'm going to be walking that way and looking for Pokestops and stuff, battling the raids on my way to that other cache. And at this point, you get
to ground zero, you switch to geocaching and Cashly, GeoGo, whatever you're using, look for the cache, and then start navigating to your next cache, switch over to Pokemon and do your...
Well, I was just going to say, at this point, one of the best things about Pokemon Go is its excellent cover for geocaching.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're in those cities. It doesn't work well out in, the rural areas, the parks and stuff, nature parks as well. But if you're in a city, there are a lot of crazy Pokemon Go players. So if it looks like you're playing Pokemon Go, people aren't going to question you like they would with geocaching.
Right. And I think just the huge popularity of Pokemon Go has stopped the questioning of a lot of geocachers.
Yes, to a point. If they see you poking around at stuff, they're still a lot more question.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I get a lot of those kind of questions when I'm out playing Pokemon Go. It was a Pokemon event weekend at or on a Saturday, and I was at the mall because it was way too cold to be outside. Uh, I was at the mall, and we actually had some shopping that we wanted to do as well. And one of the stores,
Wait. You actually go shopping outside your house?
yes,
Wow. So you're not using an app.
no, but
Tell me how you do this. I've
one of the
forgotten.
things that I find very gratifying about shopping at an actual store is when you go and you pick it up, whatever you buy makes it home.
It's delivered immediately that day. Yeah.
Well, and it doesn't get lost. It's not like I have to call and argue with
Mhm.
them that it wasn't delivered, because it's there. And no porch pirates.
Daryl's going old school shopping.
Yes, yes, I am. I'm feeling very, very old. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was at the
Well, Daryl, I just read an article this week that the retailers that are still around are finding it difficult because they get a lot of people coming into the store, touching, feeling, getting an idea, and then go order it online. Yep,
Oh, yeah.
this is the one I want. Right. But they wanted to hold it in their hands first to see if it's what they wanted. Showcasing. Yes.
Yeah. I get the impression that doesn't happen nearly as much as the store owners like to tell you. And one of the interesting conversions has been a lot of the online retailers have been putting up the physical stores.
Mm-hmm.
So we have like the Amazon 4-star store at the local mall now. I've gone in there and bought things there just because, hey, that's cool. I can go and see it and buy it. I've gone to other stores and bought stuff because it's there.
Right.
If they have it and it's not a whole lot more expensive, then I just go and buy it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is most of the time, whatever I want, they don't have.
Right.
So I don't buy it because they don't have it.
But if you need it that day, like if you're doing a repair, like a plumbing repair, you don't necessarily want to wait a day or two, even if you have Prime, or 7 days if you don't have Prime, to get that plumbing part in.
Well, and for something like plumbing, I want to be able to take the broken, worn part to the store.
Match this.
Not just that, but you can usually go in and say, okay, I want to make sure these two fit together and aren't too loose. Because do I have to go and replace these other parts as well? And to me, that's worth 3-4 times the price just to make sure. And then you can go back and get it working that day rather than having to wait till tomorrow or whatever.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I still like to make sure that, the local stores survive. But getting back to the question or the comment was, one of the people recognized us because we're there often and asked us, so what's going on? Is there something happening? And like, yeah, there's a Pokemon Go event. It's 12 hours long today, so you'll probably see people doing this all day. It kind of blew them away. They knew about the Pokemon Go events because the mall traffic dramatically increases anytime there's a Pokemon event. But it was the first time they'd seen it like that because it was a different type of event.
Interesting. There's another game that I'm seeing popping up that I got into at one time. Zombies, run!
Yes, which was more of an exercise program than just a game. Another interesting one.
Yeah, when my son was doing swim practice every day, Zombies Run was a great way for me to get some exercise and kill some time while he's, in swimming. We're at a school, so there's a track, there's, a neighborhood, there's a lot of safe, easy, well-lit spots to go walking. And, I mostly walked, I jogged a little bit, but, it was a fun story. very
I like the
serialized.
concept of it, but I
Mhm.
never got into that one. In part because when I first tried it, it wanted you to go a specific direction, which was
Right.
almost always into the middle of the street.
So
I don't want to get
cars
hit by a
run.
car.
I remember I had to turn off zombie chases. They'd come and get you. You could hear them getting closer. And I'd always get caught when I'm trying to cross the street.
Yeah.
I got to wait for the light to change. The zombie hordes have caught me. I'm going to turn this off. This is too frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
Silly zombie hordes.
All right. Why don't we wrap it up, though? Because we are at the 45-minute mark.
How'd we do that?
Yeah, well, we're just talking, and we probably talked less than half an hour about the actual subject. But so thanks to everyone in the chat who's been sharing their stories. Let us know what you're doing as far as the non-geocaching games that you're playing, because that's always interesting. And if you are doing the multiple games, let us know what you're doing, and we'll share those on a future show.
Yeah, please let us know how you're managing the multiple games. We find it interesting, and maybe we'll learn something, and maybe we'll pick up one of those games that you love again, because, well, if you've got a great way to manage it, we'd like to know. Until then, make sure you check the Cachemaniacs website at cachemaniacs.com for more on the Geo Gearheads, including show notes for this and all our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by emailing geogearheads@cachemaniacs.com or through the many channels of social media. Your support helps keep the Cachemaniac shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Cachemaniac shows. Geo Gearheads is produced by Chris Umfenauer and Daryl Wattenberg. The show's copyright 2021 by Daryl Wattenberg. All rights reserved.
Cash with the Cachemaniacs.